Okay. Boom. Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on the Rock Metal Podcast, we have Recall the Remains, and they have a new EP called Dead Dreams. I was going to try and have a straight face. Let me try it one more time. They have a new EP called, you can't giggle, it's called Dead Dreams. New EP called Dead Dreams, which was released on March 5th. Of this year. That's the dumbest thing to say. Let's try that again. Which was released on March 5th. Right now I'm being joined by Zach to share some more information about what the band has got going on. Zach, I apologize for that incredibly lame intro, but thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely great to have you on. First question. That's not an Ibanez Iceman, is it? What is that guitar?
It's a Schecter.
Okay.
Schecter E1.
Schecter E1. Okay, I'll have to look that up. You like obviously you like Schecter. You like Schecter guitars?
Yeah, like I never really kind of looked at them, but then a few years ago I saw they were bringing out an Explorer show, and then I just got hooked on them from there. So for the last 3-4 years I've been playing Schecters.
Wow. Okay. I enjoy the look of them. I love the look of Schecter guitars. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at them right now and I'm like, oh, I'm frothing. They're gorgeous. But for my hand, it feels like I'm playing a baseball bat.
Yeah, I think a few of them have got thickish necks. Our other guitarist doesn't like mine because they got fairly thick necks.
Yeah.
But for me, I like playing big chunky chords. So cricket bat's good for that.
Yeah, cricket bat is good for that. I think somebody there was just like, man, this Fender neck isn't big enough. We need a bigger neck.
Definitely.
Sweet. Okay, so let's chat about this EP, Dead Dreams. We had a good giggle about it in the beginning, and it's good to see that even though you're on the darker path where the night will bleed because it's our hell in these Dead Dreams, you know, that you have a sense of humor. So... Yeah. And the music video looks dark. Like I don't normally get scared before an interview to chat with a band, but I was like, I'm scared. So take us through this record, these music videos, this EP. What's going on here? What's happening? Especially in The Night Will Bleed. What's going on? I didn't even watch the rest of it. I'll have nightmares.
So the EP, it's kind of a culmination of I'd say the 5 first songs we wrote with our vocalist Jacob when he joined back in 2017. So they're the 5 that we've kind of written with him, and are the kind of the best out of the lot we've got so far in terms of writing, performance, and everything. And they all work kind of well together because they all kind of deal with a bit of a different aspects of kind of mental health. So yeah, the EP starts with not Dead Dreams, that's the EP name. This EP starts with the Darker Path, which actually used to be called Dead Dreams, just to make things confusing. But it begins with Darker Path, which is about grief, and kind of going through all the different emotions surrounding grief. It's kind of a story about how, you've got these crushing thoughts in your head, and then as you go through them more and more, you learn how to deal with them. You can never kind of beat them, and they're always there, but you learn to live with them by the end of it. So that's kind of what Dark Path's about. And the video sort of reflects that with the kind of creepy figure. He's always following Jordan, who's our bassist. No matter how fast he runs, he's always there, lurking. So yeah, that's Darker Path. Then it goes into Deadlines, which is one of our older tracks, and that's kind of about oppression. Our main vocalist Jacob, he's black, so he's dealt with a lot of kind of racism and horrible things along there. And our bassist Jordan is gay, so he's also dealt with things from that point of view as well. So the song is a bit of a culmination of both of their thoughts surrounding that. So yeah, pretty heavy stuff. we've got First Inversion, which is the middle track on the album. That was the first single we released back in 2018, I think, or 2017. So that's been out for quite a while. It's quite riffy, quite fast. And again, it's about having different voices inside your head, trying to bring you down, trying to control your life, and standing up to them again. So yeah, there's a bit of a recurring theme here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last two tracks we've got is The Night Will Bleed and Our Hell. The Night Will Bleed, the way the video is, it kind of follows on from Darker Path. So in Darker Path, obviously, you've got the grief and everything. At the end of the video, you see that the grief catches up to our protagonist. And then The Night Will Bleed, the video is, it's basically just a torture video. Not going to beat around the bush there. But that lyrically, it's and thematically, it's about like depression and feeling like you're lost and you can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the song goes on, it turns into a bit of a rallying cry. And something I should have probably pointed out is we tend to write a lot of our songs as if it's like a conversation, or like there's 2 point of views. So you've got Jacob, who's our main vocalist, who will offer one voice, of one character. Then on the other side, you've got Jordan, who's the bassist and does the clean vocals, who will offer the counterpoint. So in The Night Will Bleed, you've got Jacob, who is playing the kind of the demon inside your head, telling you that and then as the song goes on, Jordan kind of has a rallying cry, basically to say, you're not controlling me. So yeah, pretty deep. And then finally we've got Our Hell, which is the last song on the EP, and that is about kind of holding the people you put on a pedestal accountable. So that could be anybody from like your boss, political leaders, religious leaders, whoever. It can fit anybody really, and just saying, is what you're doing or what you're telling us to do really the right thing to do? Mm-hmm. So again, pretty deep. And we're at the time of recording this, we are preparing to record a music video for that last song as well.
Okay. Yeah, and this interview will air about a month from now. So we're recording this on March 3rd. This will probably air in April at some point. So by that point, I believe the music video should be available. Is that Our Hell that you guys are doing a music?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that video should be out at the start of April.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Something I noticed from bands I chat with in the UK is mental health almost comes up every single call. What's going on?
I think it might subconsciously be because recently I've noticed that the British government are kind of starting to put a bit of a push onto improving mental health services and getting more people to talk about, obviously, their mental health issues. So maybe that's affected some people's like songwriting. And I think just, with more recent songs, I guess, with some bands who have been writing over like the lockdown we've had over here, maybe they've just found that they've been looking into their mental health a bit more. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe that's a factor as well.
Yeah. Okay. Now you got a lot of deep things to chat about here. If it's cool, we'll go deep. You want to go deep, Zach?
We can do that.
All right, let's go deep. And part of the reason people like my podcast is because I'm not afraid to have a conversation, Zach. So I'm going to ask a dumb question. We'll start with a dumb question out of innocence. Gay bass player, black singer. How was 2020 for you guys?
So 2020 was pretty, just didn't happen really. So we, at the start of the year, we were getting quite a bit of momentum. We played Hard Rock Hell Metal, which is a festival we have over here. And that was like probably our biggest show to date. We were in the semi-finals for Metal to the Masses, which is a competition to get you to Bloodstock Festival. And, we're doing quite well in that. we had a tour lined up. We had just other gigs lined up as well. We would have probably got this EP out much earlier than we ended up getting. Then we ended up getting it out. So yeah, it basically just stopped us dead in our tracks, really. Wow. Luckily, we had the EP written and recorded. It just needed mixing when the lockdown hit. So it could have been worse. But yeah, it's been one of those where we've just been sat kind of working on new music and just trying to figure out how to record music videos when we're not allowed to go out the house.
Yeah, how did you guys get these videos recorded and the EP recorded?
So the EP was mostly recorded in 2019. So I think very start of 2020 we had like the vocals to finish, and then just we use the same producer for the recording as we do for the mixing and mastering. So it was with him, Tom from Monochrome Productions. Mm-hmm. It was just with him, so we could just send him the money and get him to mix it. In terms of the videos, the first one for Darker Path was recorded in November 2020 when the restrictions had been lifted somewhat, and we had a tiered system, which allowed us to get together in a group of 6 outside as long as we were socially distanced.
Yeah.
And so we did that. Funny story about that video shoot. We did it on a bit of wasteland in Melton, I think it was, just outside Leicester. And just as we were finishing up, the police came down because somebody from some nearby houses thought there was a rave going on. Mm-hmm. Obviously not. It was just us 6 playing the same metal song over and over again for about 2 hours. But yeah, that was interesting.
That sounds like a rave to me, Zach.
Yeah, proper rave.
Proper rave. The funny thing is we do mixing and mastering ourselves. We do recording, but that took a real backseat, and most of the time people are just recording at home and sending us stuff. And one of my friends does club like EDM or rave stuff, and I started working on it, and my son Gabriel was like, "Daddy, you're treating this like a metal song." And I said, there's a lot of parallels between club like rave music and metal music. And the funny thing is that to get some of the references in my head, I started listening to Steve Aoki and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't listen to that if you're not at a pool party in Vegas. There's just it's on repeat the whole time, all 5 minutes. So it doesn't surprise me they thought it was a rave.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. The police were very understanding. It was also 2:00 in the afternoon, so it had been a pretty rubbish rave if it was one.
Exactly. Something that comes to mind, I don't know why, but something that comes to mind, UK band, gay bass player, you guys should cover Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah. It's a song written by, he's actually Scottish, I think, and he ran away from home to London, and the song is about him running away from home because in the late 70s, early 80s, it wasn't the best thing in the world to be gay in Scotland. Maybe it's still not. I don't know. How are things going for...
It's a lot better, I think. Obviously, I'm not the best person to ask about it, but it feels a lot more inclusive over here now. Obviously, you've got a minority of people who are just ultra against it and, thinks things should be one specific way. And, you're not allowed to deviate from that path, but we just push them into a corner because they don't matter, really.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Looks like you've played the stage here with Rhapsody of Fire, Decapitated, and Bleed From Within. And I know Bleed From Within, they're cool guys. What was it like having all that momentum build up? And then I guess, what did you guys do then with your time? You mentioned some new material. So is there an album coming? Is there an EP coming?
We've got some recording time booked in later this year, kind of Easter time. Because even though we're still in a lockdown now, recording studios have been able to stay open because it's a business. And even though it's not technically an essential business, they've been allowed to stay open for clients as long as they're following like COVID guidelines. But in terms of the momentum, as you can imagine, we felt like we were on top of the world last year after we played that Hard Rock Hell gig with all these massive bands on. And then we had a few gigs after that. And the last gig we played was in Bowden. And it was a good gig, obviously a bit smaller because it was in a pub as opposed to the O2 Academy.
Yeah.
But like it's still the same energy. And that was when we were noticing that COVID was actually a bit of a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's when like the news was like really picking up over here, I think, about it. And there were rumours of a lockdown. And then literally, I think a few days later, that's when everything shut. So we were just like, oh, great. So, yeah, we've done what we can do, really, which is stay somewhat active on the page, remind people that we still exist, and yeah, just work on music where we can.
Okay, cool. Is there anything I didn't mention that you wanted to bring up or chat about? Because we got Darker Path, The Night Will Bleed. We actually went through the whole EP. We went through Mental Health, Rallying Cry. Is the whole EP meant to be a rallying cry?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know how intentional it was for us to do that or not, but we felt all the songs had that kind of theme to each other. Every song felt a bit kind of dark, and like musically it's varied, but still feels kind of cohesive. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, we felt those 5 songs when we came round to recording were the ones that we were ready to record, and that unconsciously led to the theme of surrounding the mental health aspect. And yeah, I guess you can see it as a bit of a rallying cry because you have several of those throughout the EP on basically every song.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah.
All right. Sweet. I think that's it. I think we chatted about everything, Zach. I don't know why I'm asking this, but do you like noodles?
I like noodles, yeah.
Okay. When I say that, what are you thinking of right now? What kind of noodles are you thinking of?
So I'm thinking of super noodles, but they're not the noodles I like. Do you have super noodles over there?
I don't know. How do I spell it? Do you say super noodles?
Yeah, super noodles.
What is that?
They're literally just instant noodles. And they're really popular over here, but they're super unhealthy.
Okay, I'm looking at it now because the first thing that came up actually was a restaurant in French Canada, which is
okay.
Yeah, Super Noodles. So now I had to type in Super Noodles UK, and I'm looking at it, and this looks awful.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's kind of, that's the stuff that you make when you're like hungover or you just don't want to make anything that is just nice or, you know, fulfilling, I guess. I prefer to do like a fry up.
Okay. Fantastic. And that was very English, a fry off. What does that mean?
Did I say fry up? I meant stir fry. Sorry.
Yeah, you said we get to have a fry off, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to add that to my list of Englishisms. I've got faff about and midweek, because midweek is a hilarious one to me. I'm like, well, what day is it? Well, it's just, you know, midweek. No. Like, is that Wednesday? Is that Thursday? No, it's all midweek. Okay.
That one's Wednesday for me.
Okay, beautiful. I've got an answer.
100% Wednesday.
Yeah, or like orange juice. That one's like bits, juicy bits or no bits. That's fantastic, Zach.
Yeah, you get to choose over it. You know, do you want to chew your orange juice or do you want to just drink it?
Yeah. Groovy. Okay, so we chatted about Super Noodles. We chatted about music videos, EP. I think that's it. Zach. I think we covered everything until you guys have some new material. And Gary with 2 R's sends over, the next batch of stuff. And as long as it doesn't suck, we'll have you back on the show to chat about more things.
Sounds great. Sounds like a plan.
It does sound like a plan. So thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today, Zach.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I'll be happy to come back anytime. Also, I should probably say, if you haven't heard it already, go listen to our EP, please. That's it. Over to you.